Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life with Shenita. I am so excited to share this evening's platform with five amazing women. It is International Women's Month, and I just noticed that you will have to view this on YouTube. I just got a notification. So with that being said, we're not going to let that distract us or disturb us. Things happen in life and you just figure out how to move past it. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So I have five amazing women that we're going to highlight this month. And before I do that, I want to share some statistics on women in business. And these statistics are coming from the National Association of Women Business Owners. More than 11.6 million firms are owned by women. Isn't that amazing? They generate $1.7 trillion in sales, and that was in 2017. They employ nearly 9 million people in this world. In addition to that, 5.4 million firms are majority owned by women of color in the U.S. These firms employ 2.1 million people and generate $361 billion in revenue annual. If that's not exciting, I don't know what is. So that means women rock. Billion-dollar businesses, it says 1 in 5 firms with revenue of $1 million or more is owned by women. Is that not amazing? 4.2% of all women-owned firms have revenues of $1 million or more. The women that I will share the platform with tonight are a part of that statistics. And so without further delay, I am going to invite them in and we will have a conversation with them about their journey in business. So join me in welcoming Ms. Dawn Murray Hartman. Good evening.
Good evening.
Ms. Tanisha Hall. Good evening.
Good evening.
Ms. Michelle Fuquay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Ms. Glenetta Griffin. Good evening.
Good evening.
And Dr. LaTracy McDonald. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you all again for sharing the platform with me this evening. And I am so excited to talk with you all about your journey in this on this path of business. So let's start with some introductions because I want them to know who you are. So we're going to do a round table and we'll start with Ms. Dawn Murray Hartman. And will you share with the audience who you are?
Yes, well, thank you for having me, Shenita. And my name again is Dawn Murray Hartman. I am the founder and CEO of House of Dawn, which is a organization for pregnant and parenting young mothers and their children. We provide housing and supportive services for them to get them to independence so that they're no longer facing homelessness or challenges that they were previously facing. And I'm also the CEO of Nonprofit Success. I have been doing nonprofits now for nearly 20 years. And I have a passion to help others who want to go back to their community and help people. So I help people get their nonprofit started and make them sustainable, just as my nonprofit House of Dawn has been.
Awesome. And, I'm super excited because I watched it be created. in the very beginning when it was a vision of yours, and just to watch you on this journey always amazes me. So I'm super proud of the work that you do in this county for the young mothers, and all the stories that you have of success with those moms and their children is incredible. So thank you. So next we have Miss Tanisha Hall.
Hi, you all. First, I want to say thank you so much, Miss Shenita, for inviting me. But yes, my name is Tanisha Hall. By day, I'm a school psychologist for a Metro Atlanta school district, and I work with young children in the middle school and elementary areas. I consult with parents, and I also do evaluations on students to see if they are eligible for exceptional ed services. And I am a real estate agent. I'm also an author of a book called Breathe, and then also a journal which is 365 Days of Gratitude. In addition to that, I have a nonprofit. It's called Growing Beautiful Flowers, where I work with young girls just to build their confidence. And my slogan is to create the floor within. So I had a summer camp in 2019 with a group of girls, 10 group of girls, where we just did a host of things. We talked about beauty, we talked about self-care, we talked about cooking, and then also inspiration and affirmations to affirm who they are. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm delighted to know that you're one of my fellow widows.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's been a pleasure journeying with you. Next, we have Miss Michelle Fuqua.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Fuqua. I'm the pastor of Living Water Church International. I'm an author, mentor, and life coach. I have been trained and worked in the corporate America for the last, we won't say how long, as a leader. Right now, I am still working, and I have my writing passions on the side, helping coach people to walk in the fullness of their purpose. I am on a mission to help women to walk out of fear into faith, to stop self-sabotaging themselves so that they can walk in the dreams that they have and become who they want to be. I do that through my writing, speaking, and mentoring.
Awesome. And it's been a pleasure to meet you and to work with you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Next, we have none other than Miss Glenetta Griffin.
Hi, and thank you so much again for having me. It is always a pleasure to share a screen and a show and a stage with you, Shenita.
Yes.
Again, my name is Glenetta Griffin. I've been in communications, entertainment, film, television for over 22 years. I'm an actress, writer, producer, director. I'm also a host. I am the owner and founder of the Georgia Media Academy, where we provide training in all things media. Due to the pandemic, we are now training nationwide. So, you got to find the positive somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, that forced us to expand. So that came sooner than we thought, but I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later. Also the founder of the Media Kids Foundation. So the Media Kids Foundation, we train kids. We work with children in low income areas. And we also work with children in all areas. We train them to be hosts. We train them in broadcasting. We introduce them to new careers in broadcasting and entertainment and film. And we put cameras in their hands. We teach them how to run the cameras, how to edit. We teach them everything. And we also partner them with working media professionals so they can understand what some of these positions are to help guide their media careers. So that's one of my passions that I've always wanted to do, and that came through. So I'm extremely excited about that. I'm also an author, a book called Taking Back the Woman in Me. And we're going to talk about that too, because we're going to talk about pivoting and reinventing ourselves as many times as we need to, because that is what you need to in business. Okay. I know we're going to talk about that. Also a wife and a mom of 3. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm excited to be here and to shed some light on my journey.
Yes, yes, yes. She is Miss Actress. I mean, you are everywhere, and I love that you you're walking in your purpose, and you're also helping others walk in their purpose in that acting field. So I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes. So last but certainly not least, we have Dr. LaTracy McDonald.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I am Dr. LaTracy, and I am the proud owner of Black Authors Rock. Black Authors Rock is a full service coaching, consulting, and publishing firm. And now we also have a bookstore, which is located on base at Keesler Air Force in Biloxi, Mississippi. I am a woman with many titles, but first off, I am a woman and I celebrate that daily. And so, not only being a pastor, a mother, a teacher, it is vital for me to go back and teach individuals how to make money from their story. And so we all have one. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And so I'm honored to share this platform with you all because us as women, we are the strongest that comes. And so I am delighted that we can share this platform together to share our stories and later on even maybe have a part two on how we're making more money from that. And so I'm excited. So thank you
Yes.
again.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. And Dr. LaTracy is a part of our book club, a virtual book club that I'm hosting now. So we get to be up close and personal with each other. In addition to that, and I'm going to make this announcement again, for some reason, my show is not broadcasting on Facebook. So I have a YouTube channel, Life with Shenita. So if you can share the post and say, join us on the YouTube channel, they can watch it live there. So let's get started and have this conversation about women in business. So I like to ask this question of each of you. What was the driving force for pursuing this path in business? Let's start with Michelle Fuqua. Did I get it right that time?
You did, you did. Well, I'll tell you, my whole life has been one long transformation. And when you asked me to get on the show, I was very honored, and I thank you for it. I'm called to help people to have a closer relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, and that itself is a business. And it has over the years just transformed from helping people through preaching to helping people through writing books, blogging, devotionals, and things of that nature. And so this year I really embarked during the pandemic. The Lord told me that people really needed my presence. And so I have put myself in a position to help people to just make it through the pandemic by offering encouragement, prayer, coaching, mentoring. And it has really been a blessing. Over the last 12 months, I've been in so many book projects. I'm just this first half of the year, I'll be pushing out 4 books in which I'm in an anthology, and then one book that I'm writing myself will come out in May. And that will be the 3rd time I've changed the date, but it is at the editors now, so we are moving on. But I made the transition because, or it wasn't really one reason. It really boiled down to, as you know yourself, and as you are able to walk in the confidence of who you are and who God has created you to be, and are willing to put all of your gifts and talents on the table, regardless of whether you think somebody is going to laugh at you or say you don't know what you're talking about. If you have something in you that you know God is calling you to use in service, you have to go and you have to put it out there, and don't worry about all those other things, because 9 times out of 10, or probably 9.5 times out of 10, it's just fear. And when you go and do it, those people who are going to be your detractors are probably sitting on the sideline, not pushing out their gifts, because if they were pushing out their gifts, they would not have time to worry about what you're doing. And so I decided during the pandemic that I was not going to die with any of my gifts on the inside of me. And I have been pushing myself to maximum use since then. And just that whole efficiency of using your talents creates economy, creates opportunities, and it helps you to grow into who you are supposed to be in Christ. Me, a preacher, preachers need audiences. Hello. And I mean, you do, right? It's the
Right.
business of the Father. And that's really my first calling. And then I'm also a professional woman trained as a mechanical engineer. I wear many hats, as many of the ladies here have said tonight, and I merge them all together, and I strive to do it in a way that encourages other people to do the same and walk in kindness and love and grace for yourself and for others.
Awesome. Just awesome. Awesome. I just knew I had the right group of women tonight. And so thank you for sharing that, because that means a lot to me. When we die empty. And
Yes,
so regardless to what people think, regardless to whether they understand it or not, and that's how I live my life. I don't care what they say, what they think.
that's right.
It's irrelevant to me. So I am marching to a different drummer's beat. And so thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Next, Don Murray Hartman, would you share what is the driving force behind you pursuing this path that you're on in business?
Okay. Well, I think for me, it was wanting to empower young girls who have gotten pregnant. They made a mistake and just felt like their life was over. And for me, it was, I felt like, well, I wasn't a teenage mother. I'm a product of a teenage mother. And she preached to me and my sister, y'all would not be teenage moms. The generational curse stops here. And so many times people just automatically think, well, the statistics, if you're a teenage mom, your son will end up incarcerated, your daughter will end up, a teenage mom herself. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I used to be a parent and educator, and where we met, Shenita.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I would see all the time where I'm working with young mothers and they had to drop out of school. They didn't have anyone to keep their kids. Or I would work with them in my parenting classes. I would work with them, once or twice a week, but I was sending them back into dysfunctional homes. And I felt like they could be successful. They could really go far if they had the right support in place. And so many times I say all the time, we used to come from a place where you had mama, grandmama, auntie, the neighbors, everybody was going to help support.
Mhm.
And we've lost that. We don't have that anymore. And so that's what House of Dawn is. House of Dawn is that support. I wanted House of Dawn to be the home that some of them never had. My babies don't know that they're in a program. All they know is that they're home. And, some of the, we have congregate living programs, and some of our programs, the moms share an apartment. Those are aunties. All they know is that they're loved. They don't know that they're in a program, and that was important to me. So the driving force was to be able to give these moms, these babies, a chance. We get the moms a little late, but these babies, we get them early. So I always say our slogan is, we change lives and we change generations. It doesn't just stop with the mom, and that's so important to me. We teach parenting and life skills, and we empower. We teach that mom, how do you juggle? As women, we have a whole lot to do, and we have to know how to throw some clothes in the laundry and put dinner on and do homework at the same time and prepare for the next day. Those are the things that we have to teach them.
Yes.
And so that was my driving force. So many times they don't know how to nurture. They don't know how to love and care for their children. People think it's automatic. Most of us learned how to love and nurture our children if we were loved and nurtured. But if that was not given to you, you don't know how to do it. And so it was important for me to be able to instill that in these young moms.
And you have done an amazing job with that.
Thank you.
I mean, and the proof is in the pudding, because those young adults have come back. You've seen them matriculate through college, through life. Their children grow up, come back and support your initiative. It is just amazing, the work that you do and have been doing for how many years now?
17. We've been incorporated since 2000, but I didn't know what I was doing, and it took me 5 years to get started. But we have been actually servicing. Our programs have been open for going on 17 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, applaud.
Thank
Yes. And so next, Ms. Tanisha Hall, would you share with us, what was the driving force behind you?
Yeah, so the driving force for me was being able to help others. So as a school psychologist, one of the things that before becoming a school psychologist, I was a student. So one of the things that I struggled with was in math. So the struggle that I had in math was very hard for me. And I can recount my mom coming to the school to teach me certain skills or how to do the math problem or whatever. And so I wanted to go back. I wanted to be able to help other students and basically just show them that they can be successful just because they may have a deficit or just because they may have like a weakness in a certain area. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're a failure. So I just really wanted to give back and show support and also work with families and bridge that gap, because sometimes the parent may feel like, oh, my child is bad, or oh, my child, they don't understand, but there's actually something going on. It's either could be behavior or it could be they don't understand, so they're acting out. It's not that your child is just specifically bad. That makes sense. So just being able to help families, and as I'm the jack of all trades kind of, but as a real estate agent, really just helping others. And the driving force for that was my mom. My mom's the owner of our real estate company. And so growing up in real estate, going to closings, we had subdivisions at the time when I was a younger girl. So going to the subdivisions with my mom and just seeing how she built rapport with not only the agents on her team, but also with the clients, their family. All of our clients are considered family now. So just wanting to create a legacy beyond just Brenda, if that makes sense, but creating a legacy for future generations to come. And so that's pretty much it. So it just really boils down to helping others, whether it be with my book, with young widows, being able to say, okay, I've been there and I've gone through that grief process, and you can do the same thing too. Or just with real estate, being able to help someone find their dream home or commercial building, whatever it is that their real estate needs are. So just really helping others and being that support for others. So.
Awesome. Thank you. I have enjoyed getting to know your family, and I'm blessed by it. So thank you. Last but certainly not least, Dr. LaTracy McDonald.
My driving force actually came before COVID because I realized that the things that I went through growing up, I saw my children repeat that generational cycle. And generational cycles can be both good and bad. And so when I saw some of those things that I did not want my children to experience, I had to learn very quickly to be an advocate for my babies. And we're not taught that in the Black community. We're taught as women to be strong, to pray our way through, to keep moving. Not necessarily about taking care of ourselves. And so I had to learn firsthand really quick how to not only recognize that I have a story, but everyone else around me has a story, and how can it benefit us? And so that was my driving force. I learned quickly how to utilize the education and my life experience in making money from my stories. I've written over 26 books, and I don't want people to realize that you have to write all of these books in order to make an impact and to be a global influencer. I want them to know you can write one book, create multiple products from that one book, and you can make money, and it's sharing your story, and you're also healing from it. And so I am a firm believer in realizing just because I went through something doesn't mean that I have to stay there. Just because, I saw mama go through it doesn't mean that I have to stay there. And just because mom went through it doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. There's still a lesson in it. And so starting Black Authors Rock was actually a pivot for me because I had already had a publishing company, but I saw that there was a greater need with Black writers. And so a lot of people said, well, you're just exclusive with Black writers. No, it's not that I'm exclusive. I am targeting. And people target everywhere, whether you target media, whether you target in ministry, whether you target, with moms, you pick your niche and you make it happen. And so that's where I saw the greatest need. And I ask the questions. And so that's where my driving force came from. And I push it daily. It doesn't matter whether I'm feeling good or not. I have clients internationally that will call and say, hey, how can I get my book out there? Or how can I make money from my book? Or, oh, my money is funny and I really need to get this story out. All of those different things. So that is my driving force because I believe that people need to overcome by their testimony. And if they can make money from it, then it can be even more phenomenal.
Awesome. And you are rocking it out with those Black authors and more. So thank you so much for bringing your glow. And Miss Glenetta Griffin, we cannot move on to the next question until we get her to share what was the driving force behind her business.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I always knew that I wanted to do work in communications. That's what I went to school for. That's what I focused on. Now, of course, when life kicks in, you branch out and try other things. And then, it took me a while to come back and say, no, I'm not doing anything else but what I want to do. Okay, so it took me a while to do that, but now I'm able to do that. And that it's truly a blessing because I'm able to focus more on exactly what I love to do. The driving force behind it was so many people would see me either on television, or I have 3 children that are also actors. They would see them on TV or in a film and they'll say, hey, how did you get your son in that film? Hey, how'd you get your daughter on that TV show? And all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, people would call me all the time and just ask me that. I don't have time to talk to everybody. It's not one thing I can tell you that is going to get you on TV. It is a process. It is a journey. It is a lot of work. I need people to know that working in film and television is a lot of work, okay? Having children in the industry is a lot of work as well. That's 3 separate jobs right there, okay? Each child is a job. So I said, well, you know what? I was coaching and consulting people on the side. I said, you know what? I'm going to start a company that can help people break into the industry so that they didn't have to go through what I went through just to get in, because I didn't start acting professionally until I was an adult. I did school plays and stuff like that growing up, but when I turned 18, I went, signed myself up for an agent, signed myself up for classes, and I got myself into the industry. But there were scams. There were people, through the journey now, took my money, told me lies, fed me dreams, all that kind of stuff. And I said, you know what, if I could create something to where they don't have to go through all of that and I can just show them the way and get them on the right path, then their journeys, it can possibly be quicker. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I've been doing this for 22 years, but I just wanted to create something that would help guide people and give them an easier opportunity to break into the industry.
Yes, and I've watched you do some amazing productions and shows and sitcoms. And your son, actually, I was on set with Michael B. Jordan. Your son was in that film as well,
yes.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
That was exciting. That was really exciting.
That that was a dream come true for him, because we were just talking about, like, who's your idol? Who do you want to work with? And he goes, I want to work with Michael B. Jordan. And I lie to you not, in 2 weeks, y'all, manifestation, 2 weeks, we were on set with Michael B. Jordan. And I called him at school. I remember when the role came through and we auditioned for it. I was reading with him. I didn't know that Michael B. Jordan was the attorney that he was going to be talking with. And, I Googled it and I said, who's playing this role? And it said Michael B. Jordan. I called him at school and I was like, I got to tell you something. And I was like, Michael B. Jordan's in the scene with you. And he just freaked out and we were all praising God, honey. We were running around the house. It was like, what?
Yes.
But what? We're all just, it only takes one yes.
Right.
He didn't have a ton of experience at the time. He had the training from me and from other people, and we know how the business works, but he didn't have a ton of experience. Mm-hmm. He just went into an audition and killed it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So certain things you just have to know how to do, and that's what we train you to do at the Georgia Media Academy.
And that's the one thing that, you guys sharing your businesses, we want people to understand. Just take one step. Just one step. Mm-hmm. And as Michelle said, be determined to use your gifts.
Yes.
Use all of them, and so I'm grateful to have you ladies in my life. So, as we move forward in this conversation during COVID, how have you maintained your personal and business stamina? Michelle?
Well, I will tell you the truth. When COVID first started, I was not maintaining. I was going from 6:30 in the morning, sometimes to 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, really operating on very little sleep. And
Mm,
it was because I was doing my day job and then I was chasing my dreams. And I felt that if I was going to do what I needed to do, I needed to put the time in. Of course, that is not sustainable and it's not healthy. So over the course of the last year, I found the right balance, and I start my day with prayer. I do my daily affirmations. I envision where I want my life to be, long term, medium term, and short term. And then I decide what things do I need to do today in order to move down the path that I have chosen at work, in ministry, and in my writing, my business, and all of that. And I think the hardest part is being in this one room for the whole year, but trying to see and think expansively where you're going. And so you have to really, really tap into that inner self, because the world has kind of shrunk in on us. But we have to recognize that even though we might be in seclusion, the problems that are in the world that you were called to serve, the people you were called to help, they're still there. And if you're not already helping them, then they are possibly staying stuck, staying hurt, staying in need until you or someone like you come forth and help them to move forward. And so that is what I have really focused on. It really has not just been during COVID, but over the last 20 years, just really helping people to get unstuck and move forward. And that's the heart of everything that I do, is helping people to live the abundant life that they were called to live. And that really helps me to balance. Of course, you in a house with the same people all the time. So you have to figure out how to do that and how to do that productively. But it has been a blessing, because even though I've more
I think she might be stuck. So we're going to move to Dr. LaTracy.
I have been determined to have a circle of support around me. So I'm not ashamed to say I have had the psychiatrist, the therapist, the counselor, the sister friends. I spent a lot of time near the water because I live near the beach here in Mississippi. And I will tell you that I made it my business to keep that support around me. I didn't necessarily have that support or recognize that support before COVID. And when, just like Miss Michelle said, when you're stuck in the house with the same people, you got to either learn how to like them, or move around. And so, and see, also in the middle of COVID, I had went through a divorce right before COVID had hit, and no one knew it professionally. And so I'm still a mogul in the eyesight of people, and yet I am grieving, because you go through grief after a divorce and or during a divorce or any of those things. And so all of those things I had to get my mindset together. I had to get out of bed. That I used to work from the bed. So I encourage people to know, even though you may have a business, even though you may have family, COVID actually taught me how to maintain, because I learned how to love me again. Self love was so important. And I had never recognized that. I went back to my maiden name um, after having a different last name for over 25 years. I went back to the original LaTracy, and then I got my doctorates. And so it was so important for me to come back to me to learn who I was, to love who I am, and to embrace me bold and unapologetically. And so when I came out with my Diana Ross song in the middle of COVID, the whole I'm coming out, and then I dyed my hair red, everybody was like, wait, what happened? But it was me embracing me. And so you have to find what's important to you in the middle of this pandemic and make the best of it.
Yes, yes, and you're doing it well.
Thank
Thank you. Tanisha.
So personally, I would say just being honest and open with myself, realizing what my feels, how am I feeling today, why am I feeling this way, just really being honest about where I am emotionally, if that makes sense. And then just checking in with like support systems. So my mom is like my biggest support emotionally. So
Mhm.
just really checking in with my mom, and even beyond that, like I'm a really, really big proponent for mental health. So saying, okay, maybe this is the time where I need to go back to therapy, where I just really need to work through some stuff. Even with the grief, it's still there's no end, there's no stop, no end. It's not a final thing. You still go through those processes. I consider grief as a roller coaster. One minute you're good, and the next you're like, okay, so just really being honest and open about my feelings and just talking through it. Journaling, that really helped me a lot. That's how I came out with the 365 days of gratitude because just trying to look for ways to really be happy, to find the joy in the day-to-day life. As far as business, I would say really being flexible, really being open. In the things that I do, I'm so used to interacting with individuals like personally. But now it's kind of like, okay, I have to think outside of the box. Like, how can I interact? How can I still perform but also be safe as well? So it's really thinking outside of the box and thinking of ways that I can reach individuals and also being efficient as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Miss Griffin.
Hey, yeah, so I had to revisit my tribe. I had to make sure I had my support team strong. There were some days I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, y'all. It's getting hard. You got to have that tribe and make sure you have that support team to pull you back when you think something differently, right?
That's right.
Pivot quickly. As things were changing and we did not know what was happening, and this is personally and in business, I had to pivot quickly and make changes, and just go with the flow and just see what was happening and change with those, make changes with them, remain consistent. I had to still show people, even though the doors were shut of the business. We actually opened our new studio in January. COVID hit in March. And they're like, you can't go in your building. Okay, so I had to get really creative online and, start training nationwide and picking up other clients just to stay in business and be really creative with it. And yeah, just creativity. Just, what can we do to let people know we're still here? How can we help people with where we are and meet people where we are with the industry right now?
Awesome. Miss Murray Hartman.
Yes. So I would have to say COVID, boy, when it hit, everybody, I felt like most people are trying to, well, how do we keep my family safe? How do I keep myself safe? It wasn't just me. It wasn't just my family. I had an organization with mommies and babies. And I had congregate living programs that it was like, how do we keep this from spreading? How do we keep everybody safe? I have moms and babies. I have staff. So it was truly getting to me when a lot of people got to go home and work. It was double, triple. I was up all night, like Michelle said, you're up all night and had to truly say, okay, literally, I was becoming nothing but nervous, just trying to keep everybody safe. And like you said, that starts to truly mess with you. And at the same time, then I started losing funding. People aren't in office. They're working from home. Everybody's trying to figure this thing out. So we're not getting checks. We're not getting money coming in. And I have mommies and babies. I have almost 20 families that I'm caring for. So it got difficult and people said, are you scared? I was never scared. I guess I just had the faith. I said, this is not my program. This is God's program, and he has it. I wasn't scared about the agency. I was worried about everybody staying safe, And so I said, I don't want to be a nursing home. I don't want it to spread. And, so that was my biggest issue, but it turned out well. We did well. We ended up closing one program, and we were able to start new programs. I had 3 different housing programs, but we closed one and we were able to open up more. We started a new student housing program. We'll be doing university housing for moms that are pregnant and parenting who you can't live on campus if you are pregnant or parenting. So now House of Dawn will be providing housing for those moms. And we were able to really extend our outreach. And families that's been affected by COVID, we're able to pay their rent to prevent homelessness. We're able to assist moms that need to go back to work and need their child care paid. So we had to, like Glenetta said, our word was pivot. We had to pivot, and we had to pivot quick to keep everything moving forward. So while a lot of people were out of work as well and had time at home, they're like, this is a time for me to work on my vision. I want to start my nonprofit. And so by me having nonprofit success, I teach people how to start their own nonprofits. I got busy with that too. I got even busier with that as well. So I would say it has not been all bad. It was different. We all had to get used to it, but some beautiful things came out of it. And we are moving forward and walking in the destiny and continuing our journey and starting new chapters.
Yes. And you were blessed to build a new home for House of Dawn. Is that right?
Yes. In the midst of all this going on, while we lost all the funding, it's like, oh yeah, we have a brand new 5,000 square foot facility.
Right.
And we just lost a bunch of funding, But
right.
Again, that's now our student housing program. We were able to during the midst of this pandemic, and I keep saying even in the pandemic, we have our own subdivision. House of Dawn is now located on New Dawn Court. So some beautiful things happen. We have our own street, our own subdivision that's all dedicated to these moms and babies.
Yes, amazing work, amazing work, amazing work. And not only did you build a new home, but you got married during COVID.
I did. I was trying to get married, had to cancel my own wedding. Look, honeymoon, we didn't have a chance for a honeymoon. I had to get back and change this program. So.
Right.
We were quarantined.
And went to the beach and had an intimate wedding and came back to work.
Absolutely. A lot happened in a year.
Yes. So congratulations to you on both ends. I mean, just amazing work. And so as we prepare to close in, we have one final question that I want to do a roundtable with. You guys are just so amazing. We needed more time than an hour or 50 minutes for this discussion. But what would you say to someone to encourage them to start or to continue their business? Ladies, what would you say to them if you had 1 minute? If each of you guys had 1 minute to say something to encourage someone to either start or continue their business, what would that be? Tanisha?
I would say to remain consistent and remember your why. Like, why did you want to start? And then also, everyone is not going to support you. I mean, that's just the realities of it. And for me, I would always get discouraged, like, dang, this person, I knew this person, they didn't want to use me to be a real estate agent, or they didn't want to support my book. But just realize everyone is not going to support you. But remember your why. And sometimes it's the individuals who you think would least support you, they are not going to support you, but they end up supporting you. And it's the individuals who are very, very close to you. You're like, oh my gosh, like you didn't want to support me, but don't take it personal. Keep going, keep being consistent. Remember your why, and you got it. You can do it.
Great point. Don't let it stop you. Keep moving. Remember your why. Thank you. Dr. LaTracy, what would you say?
I would say be bold and unapologetic in whatever you do. This season, you have to be able to own whatever you do, because it's showing up in social media, it's showing up globally. You just have to own it. So I piggyback on what Tanisha said, but yes, be bold and unapologetic because not everyone is going to appreciate or support, and that's okay. And don't be the smartest person in the room. Find someone smarter than you and glean from them.
Yes, yes, yes. And what we do is not for everybody, right?
Hmm.
So we
So
have to remember that. So what we do and what God has purposed us to do may not be for those people who we think it is for. So, and it's okay. Like
yes.
Tanisha said, okay, keep moving.
Hmm.
Michelle?
I would sum it up like this. You have a dream in your heart. Follow it. Don't let anyone discredit it. Don't let yourself discredit it. If you can dream it, you can do it and you can be it. Secondly, keep moving forward. Don't let anything stop you. You're going to be stopping yourself because of the stuff that's going to go on in your mind telling you what you can and can't do. Keep moving forward and remember that he who began a good work in you is faithful to complete it. He will complete it as you walk it out and do what you are supposed to do every single day. So don't let your mind get in the way. Don't let the people get in the way. Don't let the problems and the situations of your life get in the way. Just put your eye, lock your eyes on where you're going and just keep walking.
Awesome. Absolutely. Dawn?
Okay. I would have to say, don't let the things get in your way because it seems like the closer you get to your dream, everything is going to go wrong. Everything is going to happen. Keep your focus. Um, my thing is, I say it all the time. No weapons formed against me will prosper. And I have to say it out loud. I have to walk back and forth and say it. But don't be discouraged. Things will get in the way. And the closer you get, the busier things are going to get, the more things are going to get in your way. So just keep your focus, even down to, oh, I don't even have any money. I have this vision. If God gave you the vision, He gonna give you the provisions. Work it out, figure it out. Have a plan, and that's out. Those are my words to say. Don't give up. Keep moving. Remove all those obstacles out your way.
Absolutely. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Miss Glenetta.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to start it, take the first step. Just go ahead and take the first step. I know you're scared. Take the first step. And like Tanisha said, what's your why? Why do you want to start the business in the first place? If you're already in business, remember why you started. When it gets hard, remember why you started in the first place. And when you get tired and you get frustrated and you want to quit and you want to give up, rest, don't quit. Take a minute, step back, remove yourself, get a little rest, whatever you need to do, step away from it, just don't quit.
Absolutely. And I've learned over this during COVID is not to let distractions distract you because there are distractions that are going to come and they will distract you from your purpose. And so sometimes those things that look like they are great and good are really not. They're distractions. And so we have to stay focused. So you guys are amazing. I want you to share how people can reach you or purchase your book. So if you would really quickly share with them the title of your book, where they can purchase your book, um, and so forth. So Dawn, we'll start with you.
Okay. Yes, I can be reached at out 770-477-2385. That is House of Dawn's office. My book, My Journey to Nonprofit Success, can be purchased off of my website, Nonprofit Success. So that would be www.anonprofitsuccess.com.
Thank you. Tanisha?
Yes, so my book, Free, The Spiritual Journey of a Young Widow, can be found on Amazon.com. And then also follow me on social media. Sorry, I had to add that in. But I'm Tanisha Hall. So follow me on social media.
And your journal is
Yes,
free
so my journal is called 365 Days of Gratitude. So if you follow me on social media, you can find my book, not my book, but my journal that way. So
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Dr. LaTracy?
Yes, all of my information can be found at Black Authors Rock on all social media facets. And if you would like any of my books, they can also be found in the Black Authors Rock community, or follow me on social media under LaTracy.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Lynetta?
Yeah, you can find my book, Taking Back the Woman in Me, on Amazon or glennettagriffin.com. To find me professionally, georgiamediaacademy.com. We're on all social media platforms, and follow me on Instagram at Glenetta Griffin.
Awesome. Last but certainly not least, Michelle Fuqua.
Yes, you can buy all my books on Amazon.com. I have 10 journals and 2 books. And then my latest books, Sold Out Volume 2 and Soulful Affirmations. Follow me on Instagram at Michelle W. Fuqua. And you can get the link for those books in my bio. Thank you.
Awesome. And before we close out, we have just a few more minutes. Do you all have a favorite quote that you would like to share with the audience, or a favorite saying that you would like to share with the audience? And we'll start. Michelle?
All things work together for the good for those who are called according to his purpose and plan.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Glenetta?
Restart, reboot, rebuild, renew, reset, reinvent yourself as many times as you need to.
Love it. Dr. LaTracy?
Well-behaved women often don't make history.
That's good. Tanisha?
To everything, there is a season.
That is so true. Dawn?
You can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of you.
That did it.
Can you say that again? Because I need you to say that again.
That you can't pour from an empty cup. You take care of you. We take care of everyone else, and often we come last. We got to take care of ourselves. Well, our cup has to run over if we're going to take care of others.
That is so true. As a matter of fact, Madison is gone for a little while, and these last few days since Monday have been just absolutely amazing. And you're right, we have to make sure we take care of ourselves. This Saturday and Sunday, I'm gonna do something for me with that balance, needing that balance. So when we take that first step and we move into this journey of business, and we have family, and we're juggling this balancing act, we must make sure that we take care of self. I love the fact that Ms. Glenetta said we have to pivot, make changes when it's necessary in this challenging world. Everyone has shared some valuable information, and I hope that those who are watching, although the challenge with Facebook today, that they are watching from YouTube, and I will post it on Facebook as soon as it becomes available. And I pray that this show has really inspired someone to either start their business or to continue their business, because they see your faces, they've heard your stories, and they will follow you, they will find you, they will support you, they will pray for you on this journey of life. So I thank you guys for what you do, not only for the world, for your families, for yourselves. Thank you for being amazing women who rock. Women in business. Congratulations. Can we give you all a round of applause, including for yourselves? Many times we are shy about acknowledging that we're great. And I think you guys are great. And I think you have to walk in that greatness boldly, confidently, unashamed, unapologetic. I heard all those terms tonight. And so if people think that you're being cocky and arrogant, that's their problem. We're confident. And you guys are confident women. You could not have gotten where you are today if you weren't confident. God knows what he's given you guys to do. And I just thank you for being obedient, because as Michelle said, if we don't do what we're supposed to do, somebody's not going to be able to do what they're supposed to do. So it all connects. So I just thank you guys for being a part of this broadcast and the amazing women that you are. Thank you so much.
And thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure. Thank you. And you guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Ladies.
Good night.
Thank you all for watching this episode of Life with Shenita, Women in Business, and those 5 amazing women. I hope, as I said earlier, that you guys will glean something from their stories, that you will find them, that you will support them, that you will pray for them, and just be a part of this amazing journey called life and business, if that is your desire. We have a nonprofit specialist, we have an author, all of them are authors. We have an actress, television. We have they have so many gifts and talents that you guys, if that is a part of your dream, that you can reach out and connect with them to fulfill your dream that God has for you. And so, again, thank you for tuning in. As always, remember that I love you, but God loves you most and He loves you best. Life with Shenita started with a goal to help people overcome life's challenges and to encourage them to live a vibrant life beyond the challenges that they face. So, again, tune in weekly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. YouTube. The YouTube channel is Life with Shenita, and the Facebook page, I'm thinking that I'm maybe in Facebook trouble. I'm not sure. But Life with Shenita or Shenita Trinice Connolly. So thank you all for watching, and you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. God bless.